This is topic 8, lesson 8, variables and expressions. So we're going to talk about how you translate words into algebraic expressions. We talked a little bit about this actually, I think, at the beginning of the topic. But I just want to review. This is a little background. A variable is a letter or symbol that can represent any unknown amount. Okay, that can vary or change. Although it can vary or change, from one problem to another problem. In other words, x in one expression could be different than x in another expression, but within one expression. So if you had something like, x plus 5 minus x equals, 25, say, these x's would be the same. They wouldn't vary within one expression. But if you had another problem and you had x minus 9 equals 37, that x could be different because it's in a whole other problem, unless they're pairing them up. Sometimes they'll pair up expression or equations or expressions and use them to solve each other. You'll find that out as you get older. Then they would be the same. So the idea is that a variable can vary, but like within one expression, it wouldn't vary. That x would be the same as that x. Or if they'd paired up a couple of equations or a couple of expressions, and that you were using those expressions to solve each other, which really is what algebra is going to be, then they would be the same. But they do vary in terms of like from problem 5 to problem 9, they're probably different. I think that's a better way of looking at it. An algebraic expression is a mathematical phrase involving variables, numbers, and operations. So remember, an algebraic expression has variables, numbers, and operations, but it does not have an equal sign, right? An expression does not have an equal sign. Okay, but because it's algebraic, it has variables. So if on the test, if it says write an algebraic expression, it should have a variable in it, and then obviously numbers and operations. Okay, so here's just a little guide to some terms, some key. Oh, wait! Come back! Some keywords that you may want to be careful with that are words that you're going to hear when you're translating a word problem into an algebraic expression. So these are some of the ones, and I think they're pretty obvious. Plus is obviously a plus sign. Added to would be a plus sign. Minus or less than is a subtraction sign. Times is a multiplication sign. Or remember, you can always put just a variable and a number next to each other, and that's multiplication. And divided by. This is one thing I don't think we've kind of touched upon this a little bit. So obviously, divided by is divided by sign. But remember, a fraction is just a division problem. So if a fraction, so w over 4, excuse me for a second. Thank you. Remember, so a fraction is a division problem. This, if we have, and we're going to talk about this, this is actually going to start to talk about what we're going to talk about in topics 9, 10, 11, but let me get my pen back. This is really a division sign. So we read this as 3/5, but 3/5 is the same as 3 divided by 5, because it's 3. Think about what a fraction means. It's 3 divided into 5 parts, right? Because this is telling you how many parts. This is telling you how many pieces of those parts. So a division, so a fraction is really just a division problem. But we'll go into that in a little bit more detail later. But just as a little preview. Okay, so if you have something like twice the number of people, so what we're going to do is we're going to take people and we're going to make that into our variable of p. So twice the number of people would be 2 times p, or you could make it 2p. If we did these three are the ones I really want you to look at, because these are the ones that get a little bit get confusing. So if we had, again, I'm going to make my variable p for price. And if we had $7 less than the current price, $7 less than the current price, if you read that and think, okay, it's $7, so it's the current price less $7. So we know all three of these are all dealing with subtraction. So this would be P minus 7. It's the current price less $7. This one is the current price minus $7. So the current price minus $7. I think that's the most straightforward of the three. And then this one is $7 minus the current price. So see the difference between those? So particularly the difference between these two versus this one. So 7 less than the current price is the current price minus $7 because it's $7 less than that price. The current price minus 7 would be the current price minus 7, and then 7 minus the current price is 7 minus the current price. So these two you kind of read just as exactly as they are written. The current price minus 7. That's 7 minus the current price. This one is the trickier one of the three because it's $7 less than the current price. You have to kind of flip it. So these three are the trickiest of the algebraic expressions that they're going to have you do. And those are the ones you're going to want to watch out for, are these subtraction ones and the differences between this less than and then minus and minus, the difference between those two. Why don't you try it? I got two here for you. 8 more gumballs than Javier has, and a number of students divided into 2 teams. So why don't we'll use a variable of G and a variable of T. Okay, how do we do? Now, this one we don't really have to be as quite as concerned about order, right? Because it's what operation are we talking here? We're talking about addition. So 8 more gumballs than Javier has. So this is his gumballs plus 8. You could have put 8 plus G. It wouldn't matter, right? You're going to get the same answer. Um, the second one, though, is a little bit more of a problem in terms of making sure we get the right order because it's divided by, right? Division is not commutative. So a number of team of students divided by 2. A number of students divided into 2 teams. I guess I should have used S. That would have made more sense. Team. So it's the number of students divided into 2 teams. Yeah, T is not a very good variable for this. Sorry about that. I didn't read ahead. But that's would be your answer, whatever variable you use there. So T divided by 2, because it's the number of students divided into 2 groups. Okay, and that's it. So thank you for listening.